Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today we are doing, what if Ash was betrayed by his friends? Ashketchum is betrayed by most of his friends after a grave tragedy. He leaves Pallet Town with Serena and vows to destroy them on his return. But can he? Will he survive and come back stronger? A bit OP Ash and Serena and a lot of battles. With that out of the way, let's begin this what if. Ash and Serena woke up the next morning to find their real identities revealed in the newspaper. Though they had decided to keep it a secret until the end of the tournament, the confrontation with the traitors led to the unmasking of the champion couple. It was about damn time. Mr. Goodshow had accepted that he had complete knowledge of the couple's identity and whereabouts. Organizer Scott had reported that the achievements of Red and Yellow were officially rectified to Ash and Serena Ketchum. Some people had commented on how it was great to have the young trainer back. Ash and Serena went to a breakfast with their new friends as usual and were greeted by many of their old acquaintances. They caught up with their old rivals who were happy to see their long-lost friends again. The traitors avoided the new group of champions. People passed hate comments to them as the truth was revealed the previous night. They were determined to beat Ash, as they did not want to believe still that the naive, reckless trainer from Pallet Town could become the champion of 6 regions. They had sworn to show the pathetic, incompetent fool that he did not deserve to be the champion. He must have cheated along the way, they thought. The champions were sitting and talking when the television flashed to show the fixtures of the next round. Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 days of excitement and grueling battles, we finally have our top 128 trainers from around the globe in the quest to become the Pokemon Master. The rules of the battles are the same as the round-robin stage, but for the next 2 knockout rounds, each match will be a 4-on-4 battle instead of 3 Pokemon per side. On your screen are the fixtures of the round of 128. The trainers are required to reach their respective battle arena at the specified time. The winners will proceed to the next round of 64. On behalf of the Pokemon League and the Masters Victory Tournament, reporter Alexa wishes all the trainers their very best. The fixtures were shown on the screen. Ash and Serena saw the names of the traitors, their old acquaintances, and their new friends. Many were pitted against each other like Bonnie versus Bianca, Cynthia versus Sawyer, Lance versus Stefan, Clement versus Shauna, and so on. Coincidentally, Ash and Serena had their battles against 2 of the traitors. Ash was up against Paul and Serena against Dawn, which meant the couple from Sinnoh was next to bite the dust. Ash's match was on 11th, whereas Serena had her match the next day on 12th. The groups A, C, E, and G had matches on 11th, and classes B, D, F, and H had matches on the 12th. The day went on. The couple went to the forest to practice with their Pokemon. They had their lunch with the Pokemon there like the old times and had another session before dusk. That was when Ash got a call on his phone. He ended the practice session and returned with Serena for her surprise. Why can't you just tell me, Ash? What is it? If I told you, then that would not be a surprise. Whatever, I just don't like being kept in the dark. You will see soon, honey. They reached the Pokemon Center and climbed the stairs to their floor. Instead of going to their room, Ash dragged her to another room and knocked. Serena looked at Ash, unable to comprehend who it could be. When the door opened, Serena stood there dumbfounded as Ash hugged the person. Aren't you going to give your mother a hug, Serena? Grace asked her mockingly, Mom, I know we are meeting after a long time, but I think you can recognize me. Grace teased her as Ash snickered. Serena got out of her shock and wrapped her mother in a tight hug. What a pleasant surprise, Mom. You should thank your dear husband for that. First, you both come inside, then we can talk about whatever. They all went inside and sat on the couch. Thanks, Ash, for this wonderful surprise. Serena gave a short kiss to her husband and asked, We had decided to meet Mom after the tournament. Then, why did you call her now? Well, I thought now that our identities have been revealed, we can spend some time with Mom. After all, we had not met her for a long time now. Exactly. Not since when you visited after defeating Team Rocket, and that was 8 months ago. Grace said slowly. A flashback. Sir, you have got to get out of here. The chopper is ready. We cannot save you if the couple gets here. They are just too powerful. Then do your job, Agent 009. Keep them out of this room. Don't worry about me. The agent frowned on hearing this. Sir, they have already destroyed the lower levels. They are just on the level below and I am not sure we can hold them off for long. They have decimated all the criminal organizations from the root and this is our last base. If they capture you, everything will be lost. You need to go now, sir. I believe I told you to guard this room 009. I must tell you one thing. I am not going anywhere. If I get away today, they will find me somewhere else tomorrow, defenseless. At least today, it is on my turf, but sir, you are no doubt the best agent I ever had for Domino. I believe you will agree that it is better to embrace death when it comes than flee like a coward. After all, death is better than bondage. Thank you for your service and loyalty 009. Farewell, you are right, sir. Farewell, sir. Team Rocket forever. Domino said with pride, Team Rocket forever. Giovanni said as he motioned to close the door. After 10 minutes, the front door of the room of Giovanni blasted open. Hello, Giovanni. The man said as he sat on the chair in front of the desk of the leader of Team Rocket, I was waiting for you. Isn't the missus joining us? Asked Giovanni as he gestured towards 3 glasses filled with wine. He took a glass and gave one to the man in front of him, who checked the glass with his aura before taking a sip. Oh no, she is downstairs covering up our tracks. You have a lot of pests, really. Took us about 5 years to clean up all the mess you and your rival organizations created. Nice cover-up, by the way. Team Flare. Lysander was never the chief. He was your general and you have been the leader all this time. He replied, yeah, genius, don't you think? Yet, I am a little surprised actually. How did you manage to get all this information and find every single base of Team Rocket? A few members had the authorization to all the locations, including those under the name of Team Flare, and they would have never betrayed me. I know I am going to die tonight. So, why don't you fill me up with the details, Champion Red, or should I say Ashketchum? How is the betrayal of your friends working for you? Ash looked surprised and Giovanni continued looking at the young man's face. Don't look surprised. I would not lie to you that I have known this fact for about 2 weeks now, but for your interest of secrecy, I have kept it to myself. Ash looked blankly for a moment and then smiled. You are really full of surprises, but it's my turn now. You are right. Your active members would have never betrayed you. However, you forgot an important character whom you deemed useless after he was thrown out of your organization. Additionally, you promoted the 2 idiots named Jesse and James to the highest position with complete authority after they murdered my mom. That was a mistake, of which I took the utmost advantage. The fools never bothered to change their passwords and it worked perfectly for me. You might remember there was a 3rd member in their group, who was undoubtedly the brains of the trio. Ring any bells? Ash said as he took out a Pokeball from his pocket and released a Pokemon. Hey, boss. Did you miss me? The talking Pokemon asked merrily. A Meowth. Well, it would be a lie if I said I thought about you in these 6 years. After all, you were always a worthless piece of shit. Anyways, you caused the downfall of my empire, but you will not be able to enjoy it for long. Now, with that, Giovanni's Persian attacked Meowth, who was just able to dodge that. Pikachu in return hit it with its iron tail as Meowth joined the assault. The 2 Pokemon crushed the Persian to the point that it was unable to open its eyes or even move a muscle. You really thought we would fall for that, Ash said smiling. Well, I believe it's all over. Let us move to jail then. Probably I will see you in court in a few days. Giovanni said nonchalantly as he got up from his chair. That's where you are wrong. As the champion of the 5 regions, it is my duty to bring you before the court, but as Ashketchum, I am going to kill you for killing me every day in the past 6.5 years. Moreover, there is someone else, with whom I would like to share the privilege. Come here, my dear friend. The bipedal, humanoid Pokemon appeared in the room. Giovanni, Newtwo. Finally, you are here to kill me. No, that will be Ash. I am here to witness the destruction of my creator. Any last wish that I can fulfill? Ash asked. Please make it quick, Giovanni replied, looking straight in his eyes. I will try my best. Ash used his aura to beat Giovanni mercilessly and killed him with a massive aura sphere. Newtwo. Let's vanish. They took Serena and their Pokemon after setting a bomb to destroy the final Team Rocket base. End of flashback. The rest of the evening, they spent at the center. Grace met with their new friends. The girls decided to take her shopping the next day as they had their matches the day after. After dinner, they proceeded to their respective rooms. Thanks for the beautiful surprise, Ash, Serena said, cuddling with Ash on the bed. Anything for you, dear. Now let us sleep. I have to train in the morning for the match. Ash reminded her. Right. Good night, Ash. I love you too. Good night, Serena closed her eyes to sleep. Ash was thinking about the battle the next day. He had already decided on the Pokemon he was going to use the next day. Paul beware, he thought as he drifted off to sleep. Paul was ready for his battle against Red or Ash. If he were up against the same Ash who had been his first real rival, then he would be battling 4 of the 6 Pokemon that he faced in the Sinnoh League. He was sure Infernape would be there in the team, not to mention Pikachu. Thus, Ash's third and fourth choice would have to be between Staraptor, Torterra, Floatzel, and Glisker. He did not know which one was it going to be, but at least he had figured out the other 2 probable Pokemon that the champion could be using. The champion. He thought, it doesn't fit with Ashketchum. He just could not digest the fact. Paul decided the Pokemon he was going to use. His 4 strongest. He was not going down. Not to Ashketchum. Ash had chosen his Pokemon for the day. He was going to beat Paul like their previous encounter in Sinnoh with the same Pokemon. Only this time, it would be much quicker. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the last round of 128 match of the day. On one side we have Paul, the winner of Sinnoh League 2 years ago, and the latest runner-up of the Kanto League. The crowd cheered him as Paul entered the arena. On the commentator's announcement, his opponent is the man who revealed his real identity to the world recently. He is none other our very own champion, whom you used to know by the name Red, Ashketchum. The crowd went bonkers at the arrival of Ash, especially the girls, much to Serena's annoyance. He waved his hand to show his gratitude. Both the trainers took their positions, glaring at each other. Paul was no doubt one of the fiercest opponents Ash had in his past. Was he powerful enough to give him a challenge now? Only time would tell that. The referee explained the rules. The computer screen showed that Ash would have to send his first Pokemon. So, let the battle begin. Torterra, let's do this. Ash called upon the grass/ground type Pokemon onto the field. Paul was ready for this. He had more than one option for Torterra, and both would be super effective against it. Honchkrow, let's win this, Paul said as he revealed his first Pokemon. You are getting a bit too optimistic, Paul. Ash mocked. You are going down, Ketchum. Paul replied heatedly. Bring it on then, Ash said calmly and waited for Paul for his first attack. Honchkrow, wing attack. Paul called in the first attack. Take it, Torterra. Torterra just stood there as the wing attack hit the bullseye. However, it did not affect it at all. Ash said again, Rock Polish, use Aerial Ace and follow it up with Dark Pulse. The 2 attacks were sent one after the other, but both Ash and Torterra seemed unfazed. Take it. Rock Polish, said Ash, keeping his calm demeanor. Wing attack again, Energy Ball. Ash called in for the first offensive attack, but his next action shocked most people in the crowd. Eat it. He pulled off the old trick that he had invented almost 10 years ago, but Paul did not seem impressed. Keep up the good work, Honchkrow. Back-to-back wing attack, Wood Hammer and Leech Seed, Ash said coolly. Torterra hit its mark as Honchkrow went flying in the other direction. The Leech Seed also landed on Honchkrow, draining it of its energy. Use Synthesis. Torterra started to recover the health it had lost so far. The sunny weather ensured that the process was completed fast. Don't allow it to be completed. Use Brave Bird. Paul called the next attack, panicking after Honchkrow took the hit. Protect, Ash called the next attack. By this time, the synthesis was complete. Good, now Rock Slide. Don't let it fly away, dodge them, Honchkrow. Dodging was not enough as some of the rocks impacted their target. Use Icy Wind. Honchkrow used another super effective attack on Torterra, Protect. Finish it with Stone Edge. The Stone Edge hit its mark as Honchkrow went down. Honchkrow is unable to battle. The round goes to Torterra. The referee announced. Paul recalled his Pokemon and sent it in the next. Magmortar, stand by for battle. You did well, Torterra. Take some rest now. Ash thanked Torterra as he sent his Sinnoh water-type Pokemon. Floatzel take a stance, Magmortar, use Flamethrower. Paul did not waste any time and launched the first attack. Hydro Pump. Floatzel countered the Flamethrower as large clouds of fog appeared. Use Rock Tomb until the fog clears. Paul called in the next attack in order to restrict Ash from taking advantage of the fog. Floatzel, Aqua Tail. The Aqua Tail countered the Rock Tomb. Get in close and use Thunder Punch. Paul brought on his ace attack to startle Ash. It was because of this trump card he had not substituted his Pokemon. Ash, on the other hand, was not the champion for nothing. He had predicted something like this was going to happen and had prepared for it. Sonic Boom. Magmortar was stopped in its path, and before it could react, the next attack hit it. Now finish it with Hydro Pump. The super effective attack from the close range ended the battle for Magmortar. Paul was unable to contemplate the fact that it took one attack to lose one of his strongest Pokemon. Both the trainers recalled their Pokemon and sent the next ones together. Torterra, let's battle. Paul let out his starter, my dear friend, come on out. Ash released his fastest flying type Pokemon, Staraptor. Those who had battled it in the last few years claimed it was invisible when it flew at its highest speed. Paul was a bit confused. He was sure Ash was going to use Pikachu and Infernape next, but was a bit surprised to see Staraptor. That meant Pikachu was not battling tonight. Let the battle begin. The referee announced, Torterra, use Stone Edge. Paul attacked first again, quick attack to dodge. Staraptor dodged it as if the attack never took place. Use Rock Slide. The Rock Slide was bound to hit. Or that was what Paul thought. Vanish suddenly. Staraptor was nowhere to be seen as Ash immediately said, now. A super effective attack hit Torterra straight on its head. It was not teleportation, it was a perfectly implemented aerial ace. Again, said Ash as Staraptor vanished for another aerial ace. Don't let it come close, Torterra, use Frenzy Plant. Paul knew a couple of more hits and his Torterra would have to forfeit the battle. Use Wing Attack. Cut it all. Staraptor cut every plant that appeared from the ground. Paul tried to take advantage of the situation. Use Crunch. The attack hit its target but only the tip of the wing due to its speed. Pathetic, Ash muttered loud enough for Paul to hear his own dialogue. Enough playing Staraptor. End this at once. Brave bird. He called in the final attack. Keep it away, Torterra. Leaf Storm. Torterra tried to avoid the flying type attack that could end the battle. The Leaf Storm was strong but not strong enough to keep Staraptor away. Staraptor spin and go on. Staraptor spun around itself to make a path towards Torterra and hit its head. Torterra was down trying its best to stand up but could not. The referee declared Staraptor as the winner. Paul returned his Torterra as he was shocked. He had not even managed to injure Ash's Pokemon, let alone defeat them. Good job, Staraptor. Take a good rest now. Ash thanked his Staraptor as he returned it into its Pokeball. He saw the expression on Paul's face and smirked. He revealed his next Pokemon to break his trance. It's your turn, old friend, I was waiting for this encounter. Electivire, time to face your old mate. Paul was eagerly waiting for this battle to take place. It did not matter if he lost the match as he had already lost 3 of his 4 Pokemon. He only wanted to beat Infernape. Electivire, use Thunder Punch. Go. Paul called in the first attack. Infernape, use Mach Punch. Infernape countered and sent Electivire flying back as the Mach Punch overpowered the Thunder Punch. Paul realized that Infernape was much more powerful than Electivire. He had to pull something up his sleeve. He did not know that Ash was not going to let him. Electivire use Thunder. The thunder filled the arena. Dig. Infernape dug into the ground and came up to hit Electivire from direct range. Electivire fell on the ground as Ash took advantage of the situation and called for the next attack. Flamethrower. The powerful attack went towards its target. Protect. Electivire just managed to keep out the Flamethrower. Activate Blaze and Flame Wheel. Break the Protect barrier. Ash called in the next attack as everyone in the stadium looked with awe. Infernape had learned to control its ability at will, which meant the next attacks were going to be insanely powerful. The Flame Wheel hit the Protect barrier but Infernape managed to break it. Paul panicked. Electivire, use Brick Break. He called desperately as every move of his Pokemon was being overpowered. Mach Punch, Ash called for the counter. Infernape hit its opponent to send it down to the ground. Electivire tried its best to get up as Ash called for the next move. End it now, Flare Blitz. The Flare Blitz, intensified by the blaze, was enough to end the battle. Electivire is unable to battle. Infernape wins the round. As Paul has lost all his 4 Pokemon, Ashketchum wins the match and moves into the next round. The referee declared. Paul stood there as he looked at his Electivire lying on the ground. He saw Ash hugging his Infernape, smiling. He just could not accept the fact that Ash won the battle without losing a single Pokemon. He went to his Electivire and returned it to its Pokeball after thanking it as he saw Ash and Infernape looking towards him. He did not say anything and went inside. Ash came to the center of the arena to acknowledge the crowd after his victory. What a wonderful battle, ladies and gentlemen. Our champion wins it again without losing a single Pokemon. It is becoming a bit too easy for him now. Is there anyone who can stop him? I guess we'll just have to wait and watch. The next battle will start in half an hour. Stay tuned for the match between Tobias and Harrison, the commentator announced. To say Paul was dejected after the loss would be an understatement. He was devastated that Ashketchum of all people had defeated him so swiftly, as if he was a starting trainer without any battle experience. He had chosen his 4 best and most experienced Pokemon for the battle, and he almost knew the choices Ash was going to make, and he was more or less right about them, yet he had lost the battle without being able to get a scratch on Ash's Pokemon. Well, technically, he did get a few scratches on Torterra, but it did not count, as Ash had let it take those attacks before healing itself with Synthesis. He was standing near the battlefield of the Pokemon Center with Dawn behind him as his Pokemon were being healed. His other friends had gone to another arena to witness Alan's match. Paul, Dawn called him hesitantly, "You know we should go. Alan's match is about to start." Paul said. "Trying to get over his loss, you sure, Paul? We could just stay here if you want." Dawn said meekly, "No, it is fine. I have to get over it, don't I? Let us go," Paul said with a sigh as he walked past her. Dawn followed him to the arena without a word. Serena was sitting on the bed doing a bit of research on her opponent for the next day. She was trying to guess what Pokemon her opponent was going to use when she heard her husband. "As far as I know, Dawn, she will most probably use her Empoleon and Lopunny. Lopunny because it can Mega Evolve and is one of her oldest Pokemon. Empoleon is her first Pokemon and from what I have seen in her previous rounds, her strongest. Almost at the level of Mega Lopunny. I know her Piplup was very determined and Empoleon was probably the only Pokemon in her team that could cause a few problems. The best thing is if you can beat it first, then you will get through the others pretty easily." "You are right, I think. I have many options for her Lopunny, especially if she Mega Evolves it. Apart from that, I feel she will go for her powerful and experienced Pokemon against me. Pachirisu is out as well as a couple of more Pokemon. She might go for her Mamoswine or Ambipom. Chances of Togekiss and Dusknoir may have an appearance, but whatever it is I will be prepared. I know you will be. I just want to see how much Dawn has improved. She is surely going to use some of my old tactics if you know what I mean. I get it, and I have also found the perfect Pokemon to lure her to use her Empoleon if the computer chooses me to go first. I have decided 3 of my Pokemon for tomorrow. As per my strengths, I will keep 3 options open and use them according to her strategy." "Well, looks like you are all set. You should sleep early today and we will celebrate after your victory tomorrow," Ash said, grinning. "Yeah. Good night, Ash." Serena said as she kissed Ash. "Good night, dear." They drifted off to sleep peacefully. Dawn had strategized for her battle with the Kalos Queen after properly analyzing the techniques and strategy of the top coordinator. They seemed similar to Ash, yet were more stylish and glamorous. It was obvious, but Serena's choice of Pokemon was not. Dawn was unable to work out the possible plans of her opponent and decide to play on her strengths. She was going to use her 2 oldest and most powerful Pokemon along with a couple of experienced ones. She heavily relied on her Empoleon, Lopunny for this match and was determined to defeat the champion trainer. She was not the shining star of Sinnoh for nothing. She was going to win and avenge her boyfriend's defeat. The match between Dawn of Twinleaf Town and Kalos Queen Serena of Vanillaville Town will now begin. Trainers, be ready to choose your first Pokemon. The computer will decide who will go first. The referee announced. Everyone's eyes were on the big screen as the computer showed Serena to go first. She smirked and sent out her first Pokemon. Come on out, my friend. Let us battle. She said as she released her Pokemon. Dawn saw the Pokemon and was in mixed feelings. She wanted to keep her Empoleon for the next rounds. However, if her starter could get her off to a good start and then she could rest it for the subsequent rounds. After some thought, she released her Pokemon, Empoleon Spotlight. Empoleon came out of its Pokeball with confidence as Dawn grinned inwardly. The Ghost Grass type was going down. Let the battle begin. The referee declared. Will-O-Wisp. Serena called out the first attack. Empoleon, use Whirlpool to counter. The Whirlpool negated the Will-O-Wisp in mid-air. Shadow Claw. The attack successfully hit Empoleon, causing it a bit of pain. Use Hydro Pump. Empoleon. Dawn called out the attack in the offense. Counter it with a Wood Hammer. The Wood Hammer blocked the Hydro Pump attack. Use Ice Beam. Wood Hammer again. The attack stopped the Ice Beam from reaching its target. The super effective attack could have caused damage to its target. Dawn now decided to use her ace. Use Aqua Jet. Empoleon. She called the next attack. Let it come nearer. Serena knew what she was trying to do. After all, her husband was the first person to perfect it. She had thought of it and its counter, now Ice Beam. As Empoleon had reached halfway, she called out the next attack. Ice formed in place of the water as Empoleon attacked its opponent with the famous Ice Aqua Jet. I was waiting for this, Serena said as Dawn heard it. She was confused to see the smirk on her face. The Ice Aqua Jet came nearer as Serena said, dodge it, Trevenant. Empoleon was fast, but Trevenant was much faster as the Ghost Grass type dodged the attack perfectly. Our turn. Use Shadow Ball, Rapid Fire. Serena called the attack calmly. Empoleon, use Drill Peck to counter and dodge. The Drill Peck cut through some of them, gave Empoleon speed to dodge the barrage of Shadow Balls. It was not enough as a couple of them hit the Penguin Pokemon. Empoleon, are you alright? Dawn was now concerned. Looks like Empoleon has taken some damage from the powerful Shadow Balls of Trevenant but wants to continue. Can it make a comeback? The commentator announced, use Horn Leech, Serena said as Trevenant moved forward. Empoleon, use Ice Aqua Jet. Dawn called for the special attack. Neither Pokemon backed down as the attacks resulted in a head-on collision. Empoleon felt pain as the Horn Leech sucked its energy. It had taken a lot of damage. Trevenant, on the other hand, felt the effects of the super effective attack and flinched a little for the first time in the match. Serena did not like that her Pokemon got hurt by Empoleon, Shadow Claw, Trevenant. She said with a bit of anger in her voice as the attack hit Empoleon head-on, use Drill Peck. Empoleon managed to launch a super effective attack on its opponent. Serena nodded at Trevenant, who understood what its trainer wanted to say and nodded in return. She waited until Empoleon was near enough to avoid its escape from her next attack, Focus Blast. She said as Trevenant released it immediately as it was prepared for the attack. No. Get out of there, Empoleon. Dawn said, panicking, but there was no time. The super effective fighting type move hit its target as Empoleon fell on the ground, still trying to get up. Don't let it get up. Finish it with Focus Blast, Empoleon, dodge it. Dawn shouted, but her starter was unable to dodge the incoming attack. Empoleon fainted. Empoleon is unable to battle. The round goes to Trevenant, declared the referee. Dawn was shocked to her core. She had lost her strongest Pokemon in the first battle itself. She stood there, thinking about how it was possible. She had it all under control, and then her Empoleon was taken down in just 2 attacks. She snapped out of her trance when the referee asked her to recall and send her next Pokemon. She thought maybe she was going down, but she would fight with the best she had. She sent her next Pokemon, Mamoswine. Spotlight, rest Trevenant, you did a fine job. Let us battle, my dear. Come on out. Out came the graceful partner of the Kalos Queen, Delphox. The next round is going to be between Delphox and Mamoswine. Though it may seem that Delphox has a clear advantage being fire type over the ice type, I must remind you that Mamoswine is part ground type 2 against which Delphox has a great disadvantage. It is going to be a battle of speed, strength, and strategy, people. The commentator announced as the battle began. Mamoswine, use Earthquake. The Earthquake was a ground type attack and it would have caused severe damage to Delphox. However, Serena was ready for that. Delphox telekinesis on yourself. Delphox levitated, as the Earthquake was unsuccessful. What a master move from our Kalos Queen. Delphox is now immune to ground type attacks for the next 3 turns. What is the Shining Star of Sinnoh going to do now? The commentary could be heard. Mamoswine, use Stone Edge. The attack approached Serena as she called for the next attack, counter it with Flamethrower. The Flamethrower was able to nullify the Stone Edge. Dawn was getting desperate, as none of her attacks was successful. Use Ice Shard. Dawn knew it would not cause much damage, but she was looking for an opening. Melted Delphox used Flamethrower to melt the ball of ice. Now, use Future Sight, Serena commanded. Now Mamoswine, use Mud Bomb. As soon as the effects of telekinesis were over, Dawn called for another ground-type attack, Shadow Ball to counter. The Shadow Ball hit the Mud Bomb to create an explosion in midair. Use Earthquake again, Delphox, again telekinesis on yourself, Serena commanded as she smiled. The same trick worked again. She knew any time now, Mamoswine was going to be hit. Mamoswine, use a stick before she could complete. The forgotten Future Sight hit Mamoswine from above as it went down. Shit, was all Dawn could mutter. Now is your chance. Fire Blast, Delphox, dodge it Mamoswine. Mamoswine was not fast enough to pull itself out of the way of the super effective attack as it hit head-on. Mamoswine is unable to battle. This round goes to Delphox. The referee declared, "You were wonderful as always, Delphox. Now take a nice rest." Serena recalled Delphox. She was not going to exhaust her ace Pokemon. There were many more battles to come in the tournament. Dawn also recalled her Mamoswine, thanking it. They both then sent their Pokemon. Oranguru, let us show them our power. Out came the grandfather-looking Pokemon native to Alola. It could give Mega Alakazam a run for the money in the contest for wise looks. Looks could be deceiving though. Togekiss, time to shine. Dawn thought for quite some time before calling out her old partner, Oranguru, calm mind. Serena was quick to call the first move, use Air Slash. Dawn took advantage of the status move, take it and use Calm Mind again. Togekiss used Signal Beam. Seeing that Serena was not using any offensive attacks yet, she decided to use one of the few attacks that were super effective against the Sage Pokemon. You just blew your element of surprise. Counter with Psychic. Serena smirked, use Extreme Speed, take it and use Future Sight. Serena knew Oranguru could not dodge the super fast attack, but it had a very good defense. She used a similar strategy with Future Sight. Togekiss, let us finish this before the Future Sight hits. Use Signal Beam again. Dawn did not want the Future Sight to cause problems for her again. She wanted to finish this quickly. Counter with Psychic, use Extreme Speed. Deja vu? Well, the same trick does not work twice. At least not against the Kalos Queen. Well, from the trick, she called the next move, Trick Room. A box appeared around the 2 Pokemon on the battlefield and disappeared. Use Sky Attack, Togekiss. Dawn was out of her wits. Trick Room caused a severe disadvantage for her Togekiss, counter with Foul Play. Before the Sky Attack could reach Oranguru, the Future Sight hit Togekiss, making it easier for Oranguru to land a perfect Foul Play. Serena did not give breathing space to her opponent as she called the next attack. Now end this with Thunder. The part flying type could not dodge the thunder as it fainted. Togekiss is unable to battle. Oranguru wins. You did good, Togekiss. Now rest well. Dawn said as she returned her Pokemon into the Pokeball. She then looked at Serena with rage and shouted, "This isn't over, Serena. I still have one more Pokemon to go. I am waiting for that." "Well, let me first show you my final partner. Go Gardevoir." Serena said, smiling, calm as always. Come on, Lopunny, into the spotlight. Dawn was determined to win this as she called the first attack. Lopunny, use Shadow Ball, Moonblast. The Moonblast hit the incoming Shadow Ball, use Bounce. Dawn called the next attack, but Serena and Gardevoir did not move. Just as the attack was about to hit, Serena said coolly, Teleport and use Moonblast. Gardevoir vanished from the battleground but did not reappear. Look out, Lopunny. Gardevoir can come from anywhere. Dawn shouted. Now, whispered Serena, look back. The Moonblast hit its mark as Lopunny took some damage. Lopunny, are you alright? Dawn panicked. She had to make a quick decision whether to Mega Evolve Lopunny or not. It would give more power and speed to Lopunny, but Mega Lopunny would become vulnerable to Fairy and Psychic type attacks. She then made her decision. It was do or die. She was going all out now. We have taken enough. Now with the power of our bond, Mega Evolve, big mistake. Serena smiled. We will not hold back either. Let's show them our power, Gardevoir. Mega Evolves, Lopunny, Shadow Ball, Teleport Gardevoir. Mega Gardevoir vanished. Serena said the next move, Dazzling Gleam, Lopunny, use Bounce and then Iron Tail. Dawn and Mega Lopunny were ready this time as the Pokémon just managed to evade the Dazzling Gleam and went on offense with Iron Tail. Let it come close. Now double team. Mega Gardevoir used double team as the Iron Tail hit a fake one. Use Moonblast, said Serena as all the copies of the Embrace Pokémon attacked with Moonblast. Counter with your Shadow Ball. Mega Lopunny sent a barrage of Shadow Balls, but a few of them hit it anyways as it fell on the ground with very little energy to get up. Finish it with Psychic. The finishing move. Dawn's journey in the Masters Victory Tournament ended. Lopunny cannot battle. Mega Gardevoir wins. The victory goes to Serena. The crowd went bonkers as the referee announced the result. Dear ladies and gentlemen, what a battle! At one point, it all seemed even when Empoleon was battling Trevenant, but eventually, the tide turned in favor of our beloved Kalos Queen. She has moved to the next round without losing a single Pokémon yet. This means the journey ends for the Shining Star of Sinnoh. Wishing all the best to Serena Ketchum for her next round. Stay tuned for the upcoming battles. The commentator announced excitedly. Dawn was on her knees with tears filling her eyes as she recalled her Lopunny. It was then she heard a voice talking to her. Your Empoleon was quite good. The others did not do justice to its efforts. You can do better. Serena said with a stern voice and expressionless face. She was being genuine with her comments, but Dawn mistook it as a mockery of her battle. She was filled with rage as she shouted back at her. I don't need your lectures, she said as she took off from the stadium. Serena was a bit surprised at her reaction. She thought Dawn was mature in comparison to Misty, Iris or May and wanted to end the match with sporting spirit. Well, you just cannot expect that from them, I believe, she thought as she waved at the crowd before leaving the stadium. Ash met her at the Pokémon Center. After getting back her Pokémon, they went to check on their Pokémon who were training under the watchful eyes of Mutwo except some. Pikachu and Sylveon were sitting at a corner curled around each other while Greninja and Lucario were waiting for their girlfriends. After a short practice session in the evening, Ash and Serena returned with only Meowth. Post-dinner, they went straight to bed as they had a lot of work to do at night and prepare for their strategies of the battles the next day. Serena was up against Astrid whereas Ash was battling an old rival, Tobias. If anyone deserves to be the champion of the 6 regions, then it's him. After all, he is the first trainer that ever gave me a challenge and defeated my Darkrai. That does not mean I am going to give up. No, I will fight with all I have. All my legendaries will fight today. Those were the thoughts of the once mystery trainer Tobias about our champion ashketchum. Ever since his identity had been revealed, Tobias's thoughts landed on their battle in Sinnoh League about 10 years ago. It was the first time someone had been able to defeat his Darkrai. Furthermore, his Latios also lost to Ash's Pikachu. Although it was a draw, in his mind, it was a loss. Over the years, he had seen the demerits of overdependence on the legendaries. Presently, he relied on one legendary at most in most of his battles. However, today he was up against the champion. He was going to use his full force and yet, he was not very confident of himself. It was not fear of Ash's strength or fear of his defeat. It was out of respect for the young man who had come a long way to become a well-deserved champion. Tobias was ready for his battle. Tobias owned 4 legendary Pokemon and he was using them all. He knew Ash would have guessed that, but he was going to play by his strengths. Ash was in his suite thinking about what Pokemon he was going to use against Tobias. He had done his research the previous night on Tobias and his current strategy. Sure, he had faced him once, but that was 10 years ago. People change a lot in 10 years. He believed Tobias was going to use his legendaries, but his record from the past 3 years showed that he had relied less on his legendaries. In many battles, he did not even use his Darkrai but rotated amongst his other legendaries. Still, Ash went with his guts and counter strategy for the 4 legendaries of Tobias but took 2 more Pokemon with him for the safe side. He was confident of winning, but he did not want to break his perfect record so far. It was 3:30 in the afternoon. Ash had his battle at 4 p.m. He headed towards the Pokemon Center from their base with Serena. "Hello, Ash." He heard someone call him from behind as he turned around to find his opponent of the day. "Hello, Tobias. How are you doing?" Ash asked as they shook hands. "Fine. Ready for our battle?" "Sure. By the way, this is my wife Serena." "You probably know her," said Ash, introducing Serena. "Everyone does." "Nice to meet you, Mrs. Ketchum." Tobias said with a smile. "Nice to meet you too, Mr. Tobias," Serena replied. "So, I will meet you on the battlefield. May the best trainer win." "Yeah. Good luck, Tobias." Ash wished Tobias, "You too, Ash," Tobias said as he turned away. Ash and Serena went inside the Pokemon Center and then made their way to the arena. "Has he always been this creepy?" Serena asked, smiling. "Yeah, as far as I know him. He does not interact much and he is very strong with quite a few legendaries." Ash was in a serious mood. "I know. You just go out there and win. Then, we will head for my match." Serena tried to clear his mind successfully. "Yes, ma'am," he said with a smile. "Let the battle begin," declared the referee as Ash released his first Pokemon. He was quite sure what Tobias's first Pokemon was going to be and he chose his accordingly. "Heracross, let's battle." Ash called out his first Pokemon. Tobias let out his first Pokemon, which was, of course, Darkrai. "We have been waiting for this rematch. Heracross has some old scores to settle," Ash said with a smile. "Then let's do this," Tobias replied. "Alright, Heracross, use Pin Missile." Ash called out the first attack. "Ice Beam," Tobias said as both the attacks negated each other. "Aerial Ace and Megahorn." Heracross used the combination move, dodge it and use Dark Void. "About time," Ash muttered and gave his next command, "Use Protect." The Dark Void could not penetrate the Protect shield. Ash called out his attack, Close Combat, Dark Pulse, Tobias said, keeping his usual calm demeanor. "Take it." Now, Megahorn. The Dark Pulse did not do much damage to the bug-fighting type Pokemon. Shadow Ball. Darkrai sent out its next attack, Knock It All. Heracross used the Megahorn to knock out the Shadow Ball as Darkrai moved up the field to close the distance between them. Tobias took advantage of this to call for the next move, Dark Void now. The Dark Void hit Heracross before it could react, sending it to sleep. Ash decided that there was no point in just sitting around, as he knew what the next attack of Tobias was going to be. After all, a good offense is the best defense. Heracross Sleep Talk. Pin Missile was the attack that went towards Darkrai. Dodge it. Tobias did not want to waste any more time. Dream Eater, Sleep Talk again, Ash shouted. To his good luck. It was Protect. He knew the next Dream Eater was on the way and it would do serious damage to his Heracross, as this time it would not be Protect even if he used Sleep Talk. Thus, he communicated with Heracross through his aura, trying to wake it up. Get out of it, Heracross. Heracross moved a little as Ash continued. I know you can do it. Tobias had called for another Dream Eater as Heracross woke up and dodged it on instinct. Great job, Heracross. Well, I have had enough. It's time to show the strength of our bond. Mega Evolve, shit. Tobias said as he quickly called for the next attack, Darkrai, Dark Void again, dodge it. Mega Heracross was faster, Shadow Ball, Megahorn to make your way through. The barrage of Shadow Ball was knocked out of the way, Dark Void. Ash was not falling for the same strategy, dodge it quick and focus punch. Mega Heracross dodged the Dark Void successfully as the super effective focus punch hit Darkrai, Ice Beam. Darkrai got up and used the move, ended with close combat. Mega Heracross went around the path of the Ice Beam and hit Darkrai with another super effective fighting type attack. Darkrai was down but it had not surrendered yet, used Dark Pulse, Tobias called toward the attack, counter with Pin Missile. The Pin Missile kept the Dark Pulse occupied. Ash called the next move, now Focus Punch, Darkrai dodged it and used Dark Void. Darkrai almost dodged it but was not quick enough to avoid it completely as a part of the Focus Punch hit it sending it down again. Let's end this. Hyper Beam. The Hyper Beam hit perfectly as Darkrai could no longer move, Darkrai is unable to battle. Mega Heracross wins. The referee announced. Tobias called his Darkrai thanking it, "You did it, Heracross. You were wonderful out there. You deserve a long rest. The others will do the job." Ash recalled Heracross, who was panting after the hard-fought battle. "Great job there, Ash. But the battle is just getting started." Tobias said calmly, "I agree," Ash replied with a grin. "Well then come on out." Tobias's next Pokemon was the grass-fighting legendary from Unova. Hawlucha, it's time for an appearance. Hawlucha appeared in its patent style, entertaining the crowd further. "Hawlucha sure hasn't changed," Bonnie told Serena and Clement as Serena nodded with a smile. "Let the battle begin," declared the referee. Magical Leaf, Tobias called the first attack. "Take it in Sword Dance." Hawlucha took it head-on and used the status move, Sacred Sword, counter with High Jump Kick. The High Jump Kick and Sacred Sword were evenly matched. Leaf Blade, High Jump Kick again. No one was backing down. Use Close Combat, Sky Attack. "Alright Virizion, use Aerial Ace." Tobias called for the move to avoid the Sky Attack. "Hawlucha, you too." Both the Pokemon hit each other with Aerial Ace. It did much more damage to Virizion than to Hawlucha. But Hawlucha was not unaffected either. Ash called for the next move, use Sky Attack now, Solar Beam. The sun was up and the Solar Beam did not take time to charge, spin, and cut through it. Hawlucha spun around itself and cut through the Solar Beam, hitting its target. The Flying type attack did a lot of damage. Virizion was down but not finished. Hawlucha took some damage from the Solar Beam too, still not down. Well, it is a legendary Pokemon after all. Ash thought as he called for the next move. "Good, now Aerial Ace again, Virizion dodge it." Dodging was not effective as Hawlucha was too fast for Virizion, who didn't have much energy now. The super effective attack ended Virizion's strength to defend. Finish this with Flying Press. Hawlucha ended the battle with its copyright move. Virizion is unable to battle. Hawlucha wins. Ash thanked the sweating Hawlucha and recalled him. "Good work, Virizion." Tobias was now losing his confidence a bit. He called for his next Pokemon. "Come on out, I thought so," Ash muttered as he saw Latios. He called out his Ice type to battle against it. "Alright, Glalie, you are up. Start with Luster Purge, Ice Beam to counter it, Dragon Pulse, Ice Beam." The Ice Beam, Dragon Pulse, and Luster Purge did not reach their opponents. Here goes nothing. Latios Mega Evolve. Latios Mega evolved. Tobias was not going to hold back. "We will show our power too, Glalie. Mega Evolve." Ash was planning to give his all to Luster Purge, Glalie, Ice Beam once more. The same result. The attacks did not reach their intended targets. Draco Meteor. The meteors were coming down as Ash called for the next move, counter it with Blizzard. The Blizzard was so strong that it froze all the meteors from the attack and affected Mega Latios. Use Light Screen. The Light Screen was able to shield it up to some extent. Our turn to get on offense. Glalie. Ice Beam. Ash started with the Ice Beam, Dragon Pulse. The Dragon Pulse was able to stop the Ice Beam. Now Headbutt, use Zen Headbutt. Tobias was hoping to come out on top with the physical attack, but he did not know that the Headbutt was just a setup for the next move, Crunch. Now Mega Glalie evaded the attack and hit Mega Latios with Crunch. Dodge it, Latios. Mega Latios could not dodge it, Blizzard. The Blizzard was effective even with Light Screen. Luster Purge, dodge it. Mega Glalie went out of the way but a part of the Luster Purge hit it. Are you alright, Glalie? Ash asked, concerned about his Pokemon. Latios use Giga Impact. Tobias went for broke, wait for it. Mega Glalie did not move from its position. As the Giga Impact neared, Ash gave his next instruction. Double team an Ice Beam, Dragon Pulse on all of them. Mega Latios used Dragon Pulse on one of the incoming Ice Beam after recovering from the Giga Impact but was unable to defend itself from all of them. The Ice-type attack was super powerful and super effective. Latios is unable to battle. Glalie is the winner, the referee declared. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this part. If you want more, like this video, hit that notification bell, and maybe even give a comment on your thoughts on the video. With that being said, I'll see you all in the next video.